Join me on my train trip to the Bonami video game museum in Zwolle. The museum is located in a former post office mail sorting facility which is located close to the main railway station. Zwolle is a major city in the east of the Netherlands and therefore it is a bit of a hub. Its train station connects lines from the east to the north and the central part of the country. Also, it still has a big mail sorting facility, but that's in a new building on an industrial estate far from any railway connection. In the past, mail was transported by trains and therefore it's quite obvious that this old building from the early 70s is located next to the railway and only about 300 meters from the station. The video is a bit of a lift tour. Well, not quite, but I seized the opportunity to film some lifts on my trip. You'll see a bunch of scenic elevators and they are all recent builds from Mohringer elevators. Well, that's kind of a generic company, I guess, but if you stick around, you'll see something that caught my attention. The museum was originally located in Epe, but has recently moved to Zwolle, which is a bigger location and is more accessible by car and train. The museum is a lot of fun if you like retro video games and computers, and they even have an arcade. Also, this is the kind of museum that kids will certainly like. Sadly, I haven't got any pictures from inside the museum, but for details about the Bonami Museum, see the link in the description. The website unfortunately is only in Dutch. First elevator on my local train station in Hengelo.
Niveau 0, links, uitgang. Niveau 1, links, spoor 3, rechts, spoor 2.
So, after 45 minutes in a noisy diesel-electric light rail train, nicknamed the Buffle, I arrived in Zwolle. The station will be shown later in the video after the museum visit. First a bit about the building. It's a building that has that typical late 60s, early 70s brutalist architectural style which I quite like. This building was not just any sorting facility, but also a big post office and probably the main mail facility for the province of Overijssel and some of the surrounding regions. The building has been discarded since the Dutch Post (PTT) has privatized. That sucks. What's remarkable about it is that it has high ceilings in the part where the museum is located. All the floors are double height, because they needed to accommodate a lot of big machines and a system of conveyor belts. At the back there is a loading dock next to the railway. This is where the mail trains used to park and they could unload the trolleys with the mail bags and transport them into the building. Guess how they did that then? When you enter the main hall, you immediately notice that old building smell, and if you look at the ceiling, you'll see that it comprises of a precast concrete construction. I noticed that sort of thing straight away. And when you turn the corner to look for the staircase, oh, surprise, surprise, oh yeah, 2 old freight elevators. Okay, that's nice then, but do they work? What brand are they? Well, here are some photos. Looks like they are switched off, unfortunately. I wonder, I think this is an Otis lift. I'm not entirely sure. Unfortunately, they don't work. So I've just been to a museum, the Bonami game console museum in Zwolle, and this is an old building that was owned by the post office. This was a mail sorting center, and the museum is located at the second floor. When I entered here, I discovered these two freight elevators. Unfortunately, they are not working. They are taken out of service, but I am guessing that this is an Otis elevator. Those position indicators, they look like Otis to me. Unfortunately, they don't work. They have a very high capacity, presumably, and this control panel is not original. This is not an original Otis panel as far as I can tell. But those position indicators are. Anyway, I've made a few photos. And this is the entrance hall, the inside. There's also a, how do you call that? A store with second-hand goods. Here are some calendars from Chinese restaurants. And these are the two elevators, and that's a staircase up to the museum.
Ah, what a bummer! Taken out of service. The lady in the museum told me that they were broken. Personally, I don't think so. It's most likely that the owner of the building wants to cut maintenance expenses and annual inspections, so the easy thing to do is to simply shut them off by flicking the main power switch. And they probably wouldn't have been recently inspected anyway. Oh, and the owner, of course, doesn't want to be liable in case of an accident of improper usage. As you can see, the position indicator is very similar to what I've seen on Otis department store elevators with pre-liften black button fixtures. These two elevators probably would have had black button call fixtures instead of the generic ones you see here. Also, as shown, the elevators would have run in a set. I'm guessing that they would be traction elevators considering the height of the building and the busy usage they would have got. The sign on the call station says that it was allowed to transport up to 6 trolleys at the same time per elevator. Next, I'm heading to the Zwolle train station and eat some french fries before I'll film the next scenic elevators, which are the same ones as on my local station.
Oh, daar kon je omhoog.
Ja.
Met de roltrap.
Nou ja, zo is dat makkelijk. Niveau 1. Voor u spoor 10. Achter u spoor 9.
So now we are going home. Let's see, train leaves at 14 or 19. Oh, I'll have to wait a good 20 minutes, no, 25 minutes before the next train goes. Oh, it has just left. Oh, bummer. Well, hang low, that's where I gotta go. So, that's it.